joining us for this another edition of your program. This week, interview segment, we're going to be speaking about savings and money. And joining me on this episode is Mr. George Onyango, who is the Security and Investigations Manager at Post Bank of Kenya. The man has done a whopping 3 decades at the bank, and it doesn't look like it. Mr. Onyango, thank you for getting time to speak to us. And we are glad that you chose to speak to us about this matters concerning money. How is Post Bank so far?
We are doing good. We're in a good place. We encourage the youth to open accounts, of course, by going to schools and recruiting them at that age so that they get to know about money management and savings at an early age. We also go to the National Youth Service, where there's a bulk of the youth also who are engaged in the training. And we also do savings education, at the end of it we recruit them. We also encourage youth in other forums, because if you look at the government policy, youth are given an opportunity, even in supplies, and that information may not be known to them. So those opportunities also, when we go for these savings educations for the youth, we let them know that, you know, there are also certain aspects of procurement in public institutions in which you have an opportunity to supply up to 30%. And it's not just by word. It is a reporting, it is a financial reporting. It's a performance contract issue, that as the institution reports on their performance, then they are able to also indicate, did they meet that criteria that the government has put in order to promote the youth to be able to have money in their pockets. Because without those opportunities, they also ask, where do they get the money to save? Okay. So we make sure that these opportunities are known to them. Because, you know, certain procurements like putting flowers, stationery, ordinary stationery, and then cleaning, those are very low. They're very low capital, very low capital investments, which the youth can get involved into. And when we go for the savings education, we also make known that there are also opportunities you can exploit in order to make money, and then you're able to save.
Yes. Now, speaking of savings, between the 18th and 24th of this month, you know it is the Global Money Week. And you know there are a number of international weeks and international days that are commemorated throughout the year. Mr. Onyango, why is Global Money Week so significant?
Global Money is significant because you realize that if information on saving and financial literacy is not given to the youth, and the existing opportunities through which they will earn, then the youth get into the poverty cycle. And the poverty cycle now begets crime. So it's important so that the youth are given the correct information on the question of money management, and also on the question of opportunities that exist through which they can invest and make money. And also in consideration of their future, they're able to save a little, and it doesn't require, they don't require a lot of money to save. You start little by little. Yes.
Okay. Now, seeing that we start little by little in savings, as we speak now, we know that Post Bank has numerous products. Among them is the amazing product that you call Save As You Earn. What are the highlights of this product that you are offering at Post Bank?
The Save As You Earn, it offers you an opportunity to be disciplined in savings, because you make a commitment, then the money is picked from the source. You can either do it through a standing order, or you can do it through a commitment that if you're working, then it's deducted at source. So it's money that does not reach your hand before it goes to Post Bank. And then the opportunity it gives you also is that it is painless. Because it does not reach your hands, then you make a decision on spending or remitting, then it's painless, because by the time you get the net, you get your money or your salary, it is already net of that saving. So it teaches you out, it's already deducted. So it goes and then it builds up, and then you also have the youth have an opportunity to make a decision on the duration. It is aggregated from 6 months to 1 year, depending on your plan. If you have a long-term plan, you can save for longer. If you have a short-term plan, let's say like for a holiday, you can say I want it for 6 months, then I'll be able to go with the family for holiday. If you're planning to start a business, for instance, you can say I want to save for midterm, or you're planning for school fees, for either yourself, college education, or for future for the children. Then you say I want to do a midterm savings. So that also there's an opportunity for that. You give an indication of how long that you want to save. But it also takes care of emergencies, because you're allowed to premature and then continue in case of a major emergency. But generally it gives you disciplined, it makes you disciplined in savings because of that deduction at source. Yes.
Okay. Now let's talk about now the global money. And its significance is because it's an annual campaign that is aimed at raising awareness across the globe, especially among the young people, so as to give them some education or financial awareness from an early age. Now, last year, we still had the same activity for the whole week, and its theme was plan your money, plan your future. For 2024, what is the theme for this global year's week?
For 2024 is protect your money and secure your future. And the
Why did you settle on that?
The whole idea about this is because the young people lack experience in what is happening around the world, they become vulnerable to frauds and other means of losing the hard-earned money. So the basis of the theme for this year is to be able to create awareness in the youth on what is happening around, so that they're able to we enhance their ability to be able to protect their money, so that they do not lose it in scams. Because there are various scams that occur. We have what we call phishing. In phishing, you receive either mail or a message that was totally unexpected, but it's carrying a malware. So that the minute you click there, it takes over your credentials, and then they'll be able to navigate and go into your account and steal your money. We also have social engineering, where you find a Facebook posting that is promising you that you can save money and then get 5-6 times, or is promising you cheap electronics, or is saying the landlord has changed the account through which you pay the rent. And the youth fall into these traps because of lack of awareness. So the basis of this is to be able to enhance their capability to protect, to increase literacy, enhance their capability to protect their hard-earned cash.
Now, on matters literacy, there's a study and its results were released. The report was by EFT Hams. It's a 2021 report, and it stated that our neighbors Uganda recorded 34% literacy levels. Tanzania recorded 40% literacy levels, while Kenya, we only recorded a paltry 38%. That shows that we are lagging behind our neighbors in terms of financial literacy. That was as per 2021. We're now in 2024. Are we making progress in financial literacy among the young people?
Yes, it should happen, because there's been, with the advent of East African community and the cross-border collaboration between the savings instrument, the savings banks. For instance, post banks in the entire region have what we call ASBEA, Associations of Savings Banks of East Africa. So they relate, they exchange information and benchmark. So you're able to borrow, best practices, and we implement them here. And that way, we will be able to catch up, because we will be able to share the information that has made those countries leap ahead of us.
Yes. Now, moving on, alive to the high unemployment rate among the young people in this country, and also the difficult economic times we are in, because now even the incomes that people used to have are somewhat shrinking because expenditure has gone high. How can a young person with a minimal income be able to save and also at the same time invest? How would you advise?
Yeah, the major challenge or the major challenge that the youth find is that they will describe income as minimum. But it's within that minimum income that you need to pay yourself first. Because when you save, basically what you're doing is paying yourself first. Because even in terms of the relativeness of the small, it's because you're seeing, the youth is seeing, once we receive this money, I'm going to spend probably on rent, I'm going to spend on all these other things in which the money is moving out, but you see the youth is not remaining with anything. So the best approach is to adopt the 50, 30, with the little income that you have. You approach the 50, 30, 20 philosophy, in which out of that income that you've got, you use 50% for the very essentials, the rents, the bills, the food,
So that should
and
go
probably
for
medicine.
50%.
That goes 50%.
All the bills that you
The
should
bills,
be
all the
having.
bills that are very essential. Then you go to the second tier. You can take 30% there. The 30% will be, you need to dress, so that will be the issue of fashion. You need entertainment. You need to go for travel. So you can still consume the 30%. Then the 20% that remains, you can then put it in. You can put it in saving.
So now that's the one amount you pay
That is
yourself
now
in
what you
percentage.
have paid yourself, because you realize in all these other expensing, in all this other expending, the money is going out. So the only thing that remains for you is now the 20%. Then again, you can also diversify. The youth can also diversify.
How about the diversify?
Uh, you have to you put a little. When you look at the opportunities available, you see that probably there's the stock, probably there's the savings account, the stock market, there's the savings account. Then there are also schemes for even enabling you to buy a plot or a house. So you can divide the little that remains and you diversify, and then you'll see your money grow because you put it in various places. Yes.
So now that basically discourages the youth. I'm sure you've heard of the popular mantra among the youth, YOLO. You only live once, and it encourages a lot of living in spending, being a spendthrift and living large.
Yes, it's something they have to change their mind on, because if you live life today, tomorrow will be better if you save something for tomorrow. Yeah, you'll have a secure future, as the theme suggests this year. If you're able to put a little of what you get by either diversifying or taking the 20, the 50, 30, 20% rule. Yeah, yes.
Now, Mr. Onyango, you spoke quite vastly about the significance of saving and also investing and being financially literate. Now, is there some solid data or solid illustrations or successes on how maybe individuals, on how rather how savings has really been helping individuals to achieve their goals?
Yes.
Any examples you can draw for us?
Yes, there is data, but there's also information in respect to this, because as you make a decision, as you make the decision to save, you look at your needs in terms of short-term, long-term, short-term, medium-term, and long-term. So for each category, you make a decision that going for a holiday might be medium-term. I might want to save for an entire year, just a little, then I'll be able to go for a holiday in December. Paying for your college education, you can make it medium-term. And then something like planning for retirement or planning for a mortgage, that becomes long-term. So in terms of making that financial decision, you make sure you've divided the category in terms of what you'd wish to do, what your plans are, and the duration for which that saving will be. So then you'll have the short-term, then medium-term, like entertainment is short-term. Then medium-term, you'll have something a little more substantial, especially if you intend to go to college education to get to advance your knowledge. Then the long term is you're planning for retirement so many years before it comes, or you're planning for a mortgage We are planning to build your own home ownership. So that becomes a long-term plan.
Earlier on, you were speaking about the vulnerabilities that the youths or other people can face when it comes to saving. You mentioned things to do with fishing, and also the other was
there's money mulling.
Money mulling. Now,
there's also theft of data.
And theft of data. Now, in all these threats that are existing, which are the common emerging risks that we have today?
The common emerging risk majorly is on the money mulling. Because in money mulling, what happens is that somebody persuades a young person, somebody with a fraudulent mind persuades a young person that I'm expecting some money. Some even are very clear. They say, you know, I lived in the US and I'm in the data. I left there, I didn't live there honorably. So I'm in that data, so I'm not allowed to open an account, but I'm expecting some money. So open account, allow me to use the account, and then I'll give you some commission.
When I get the money?
When I get the money. So the money comes in, but the money is not from is from a fraudulent source, or it's from a criminal activity. So once it comes and you're able to withdraw the money and give that principal, then you're the one who remains on the audit trail. So when the crime is being investigated, they'll reach the youth.
They'll find your details.
They'll find the details of the young person who facilitated the transaction. And this puts them in problems. Yeah.
So now, how can generally the youth and even anybody, what should be done to avoid all this? What precautions?
The precaution should be education, education, and education, and then financial literacy, and then also teaching the youth about genuine opportunities, and also questioning some opportunities that come on a silver plate. That will enable the youth to reflect. Don't take chances immediately because of what it offers. Yes, because that has happened before. We have had cases where young people, even at the universities, have been persuaded to open an account, and the fraudster just requires the account. The person with the criminal intent just requires an account which has the Visa logo. So you open the account, you come and sell the card, the debit card at 5,000 shillings. Whatever they do with that, at the end of the day, after they've finished what they're doing, the trail leads back to this youth because of lack of awareness and then lack of experience. And then the desire to gain money without working for it. Those are the attitudes that now the youth has to change. There has to be a complete paradigm shift. But that can only be attained through creating awareness and financial education.
Lastly, as we close, Mr. Onyango, what will be your core message to the young people during this global money?
It's the information that is available can be achieved through savings education that like Postbank conducts. But equally, if you go to the media, there's also information on the internet on those who have succeeded through savings. We also hear about countries in which savings is at the core of the nation, like Malaysia and the rest. So they can embrace that. In Postbank, for instance, we have an account called Smarter, which is meant for the youth. And the focus is to allow that youth to manage it himself. It's not a mine account operated by the parent. All the information is given, and the youth, that information is given to the youth on savings education in the best way and in the easiest manner in which he can digest. Then he manages to operate the account. You know, such a person now, even when he grows, he will see his money building, and he's building his secure future. And when that is inculcated, and you started at that level, you started early, then obviously the future is very secure financially for that youth. Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr.